Hello and welcome to the Star Pubs and Bars delivery sessions with me, Andre from Delivery Insider. We're going to explore the wonderful world of takeaway and delivery and help you to understand how you can make it work for you. So let's get cracking. So welcome back. It's part 3. And part 3 is all about growing your delivery and takeaway business. And this is the area where we think we can help you to really get under the skin of how to make the most of your takeaway and delivery opportunities and really market that to the best ability possible and try and drive some great sales for you. So the first thing I try and talk about in this area is how to get to the top of the app. So the aggregators, the Just Eat and Uber Eats of this world, they have an algorithm that rewards operators that have good operational metrics. So what I mean by good operational metrics is they are tracking how fast you're making your food. They're tracking things like your customer scores on whether you're getting good ratings from your customers and when they're placing an order. And they're also tracking lots of other little things as well, like how much you leave the tablet on, how many rejections you do, how many times that you deliver cold food, or how many times that you forget to put an item inside the bag. And so all of those things will help, if you do those things right, will all help you to get a better placement further up the app. And a lot of that all starts with you managing your tablet. And the tablet is the thing that you use to when the orders come in, and you take those orders and put them into your tills and start making the food, and you understand exactly what food you're making at any one time. So tablet management basics. The first thing I tell people is to look at the hours and make sure that your trading hours are correct. So on each of the tablets for the various aggregators in the marketplaces, so Deliveroos and the Ubers, which are checking your opening hours and make sure that your opening hours are correct and you're happy with them. And then if they're all correct, you don't need to turn your tablet off at night. You can just let this automatically turn on and off on its own, because it will automatically know exactly when your trading hours are. The benefit of doing this is that if you don't turn it off, then it means that when you come in the morning, if you forget to turn it on, it will automatically turn on your behalf, and you can start getting the orders exactly when the orders start coming in. So you can change those hours on the back end, but I would always leave the tablet on and plugged in and near to the till where you're going to be using it. But making sure your hours are correct will make sure that you don't miss any orders that are coming through. There's something inside the tablet called Auto Accept. I recommend turning Auto Accept on. All Auto Accept does is that as soon as somebody places an order online, it tells that customer that their order is accepted. Now, the benefit of that is the algorithm will learn the restaurants that are using Auto Accept, and it gives them a better placement further up the app to give you more orders. And if you don't reject any orders, that is another thing that really helps your placement on the app too. So I say to people, try not to do any rejections if you can help it. And if you don't use Auto Accept, remember that the tablet will auto reject any orders if the order comes in and nobody presses on the accept button. So that's why using Auto Accept is a lot better benefit for you to try and use that and make the most from that. In the tablet, and there's a picture of one that you get from Deliveroo these days, it's got a built-in printer. There is something on the home screen called Busy Mode, which you can see on the picture there. I would avoid using Busy Mode unless you are completely maxed out on sales, because all Busy Mode does is it slows down your placement on that, moves you further down the app, makes you look like it takes you longer to make the food. So instead of you making food in 10 minutes, it will make it look like it takes you half an hour to make the food. Now, if you're half an hour down the list, when you start scrolling and looking for restaurants or pubs that you want to order from, if you're half an hour down, that really turns off a customer, and most of the time it will make them not want to order with you. So I would recommend not using Busy Mode to try and stay near the top of the app at any one time. Keep on top of stock outs. Inside your tablet, there is something where you can manage the stock of what's available at any one time. And if you have run out of an item, or you're close to running out of an item, then I would recommend going into this part of the tablet and pressing that you're sold out for today, or it's not available on the menu. It will stay off the menu until you put it back on again. But at least what that does is it stops customers being upset if they try and order something, then you have to reject the order. Now, rejecting the order, one, the customer will be unhappy, but two, The algorithm inside of Deliveroo and Uber's system recognizes that you are rejecting orders, and it will give you less chance to be seen and less orders again in the future. The next thing is a summary of all of those things, which is, one, check your hours are correct. Don't turn your tablet off even at night. Turn on auto accept. Avoid using busy mode unless you're maxed out. Don't reject any orders if you can possibly help it. And the benefit of keeping on top of the stock outs, which you mentioned a second ago, means that if you're on top of your stock outs, you don't have to reject that much. But your basic tablet looks like a picture that like there on the right hand side, and you can select all these buttons and you can make those changes very quickly. It's very intuitive. I find this really easy to run and manage once you get started. So have a think about all those things, and those are the things which mean that you stay top of the app and you get really great sales, because you're doing all the things that these delivery aggregators want you to do. We talked a little bit about prep time in previous videos. Prep time is the amount of time it takes you to make the food, but it becomes a really important part of you getting more orders, because of the fact that if your prep time is low, the higher up you will be seen on the search when people are looking for, so let's say they type in burgers, you sell burgers, you want to be as high up on that list as possible. So the way that prep time works is a number of things which contributes up to something called total time, which is the total time is the amount of time that the customer sees on their app of how long it takes to make an order. You want that total time to be less than 30 minutes. So there's a few things you need to know in advance of that will help you. The first thing is called prep time. So prep time is the amount of time it takes from when you accept the order to when the driver swipes that they've picked up the order. You ideally want that to be less than around 10 minutes or just under 10 minutes. So have a think about how, if you've got any items on your menu that you're trying to put onto your delivery menu, which take longer than 10 minutes, you may want to question, should you list that item on your takeaway and delivery menu? Because actually you've got to wait, everything else has got to wait until that item's finished. So if you can create food that you can create all the items and finish that and put that into the packaging within under 10 minutes, then that works, and leave that on the menu. But your prep time is that amount of time it takes to be able to create that and deliver that. It's going to give that to the driver. The next thing is called wait time. So the driver will turn up at the time that's expected. So let's say that's after 10 minutes. Now, if you keep the driver waiting around, that kicks in something called wait time. Prep time and wait time together adds up to another little thing which contributes to your total time that's displayed on the app. You can do things about your prep time and your wait time, because the quicker you can make the food, the shorter that time is. The next thing is called load time. The load time is the time it takes for an aggregator like Deliveroo to find a driver and send them to you. They don't tell you what that load time is, but there are some things you can do to try and make sure that you get drivers every time. So if there's not a lot of drivers in your area, making friends with the drivers and helping them to want to come back and take orders from you, because they have a choice at any one time whether they take an order from a given pub or restaurant. And if they like coming to you because you look after them, you give them a free drink every now and then, a free coffee, you let them use the toilet, those are the things which will make a difference in engaging those drivers. You generally see the same drivers over and over again, so learning their names and making sure that you're friends with them will really help, particularly when you start to think about they're your only chance of making a good impression on the customer who receives the food. So if they're in a good mood and they take your food and they're happy, that has an overall reflection with the customer about how they've enjoyed their meal and their food and their order from you. Then add to that the delivery time, which is the time it physically takes to drive that item to the customer, and add all those things together, and that gives you your total time. Keeping that as low as possible is the key. It starts with prep time, but also good if you can try and engage your drivers and keep them happy too. I talk to people about beating the algorithm. So the algorithm is this thing which determines where you sit on the app at any one time, and you want to be as close to the top of that as possible, a bit like Google search. If you find yourself on page 2 of Google search, you'll never get a click, whereas if you're on page 1 and you're near the top, you get lots of traffic. So trying to stay at the top of the the various the aggregators' algorithms and being as close to the top as possible will really help you to get more orders. So the basics you can do on that are things like keeping your prep time as low as possible, keeping your wait time as low as possible, making sure that you're open 100% of the hours that you said you were going to open. So that's all about keeping your tablet on and sticking to those hours. Now, if you change, or if you change your hours, that's fine. But if you turn your tablet's not on and you're not open for orders when you said you were going to be, then the algorithm will start penalizing you and you will get less orders over time. Keep your rejections low, ideally 0, but definitely less than 0.5% of orders. That's a great way to make sure that you are going to get more orders in the future. App rating, a bit like a TripAdvisor score, you want that app rating to be as high as possible. So you want people to be giving you 5-star ratings. And we're going to talk about in a minute about how to tap into getting people to give you 5-star ratings. Of course, they want your food to be great, but there's more of an experience which I think we can try and give people as well. And then don't use the busy mode. We've talked about that if you can possibly help it. So those are the basic things that will help you to make sure you get to the top of the app and get more orders. To help drive your spend and to help make sure that your placement looks really good, having dish photos for every single dish, including drinks, is a really important part of making sure you look good online. So have a number of photos with great pictures of your food and your drinks. Make that food look amazing. Make people want to salivate when they see it, and then it will sell more food. Particularly if people don't know your pub or your brand, then when they find and see those photos, that's the thing that will get them over the line and make them want to order. A hero image is the little tile image at the top of your menu, and that's the thing that people will judge whether they want to order your food by or not, or have a look at your menu by or not. So making sure you've got a great hero image. A great hero image is usually a picture of 2 or 3 of the famous things you have on the menu and put them in a great picture at the very top, and then people will want to look at the rest of the menu if they see what great stuff you've got when they look at your hero image. Have some bundles. What I mean by bundles is it might be a combination of 2 meals in one. So it can be 2 burgers for a set price, or it might be a burger and a drink for a set price. Those bundles help to drive your average spend up. So having bundles is a good idea to help drive your spend. And having modifiers, so what that means is when I click on an item, giving me some options of extra things I could add to that order as well will help to grow my average basket. So I'm thinking about things like if I have a burger, I want it to pop up and say, do I want to buy a soft drink? Do I want to buy fries? Do I want to buy onion rings? And I'll buy all those 3 things if they're offered to me, but you can build that in the modifiers and show me how I can add to my order and build my overall spend and basket size on that particular order. Then the other thing that you can do to help beat the algorithm are other boosters. There are marketing offers, and we'll talk about that in a minute, about deals that you can put online, and you can try and drive some sales through your deals. You can put links from your own website to help drive a connection between your website and the delivery websites. And then also posting on your social media about your delivery and takeaway offer will also help to drive some revenue and some sales for you. So talking about social media advertising, here we are, some great examples from some star pubs and bars locations, and you can see them here. The Fox in York, they've got a great takeaway pizza offer, and they're advertising that on their Facebook page there, and selling that into all of their people who love that brand, and getting people to comment on that is really important in a way that helps to drive some sales and get some buzz going around your brand. You can see the Princess there has listed their breakfast and their sandwiches, and they've got that as their collection and delivery menu as well live. Brilliant to see that. That's the kind of thing that will help people to see exactly what menu that you have and how to order it. And then the Winchmore here lists out a bunch of things that they've got available at certain times of day, including the specials and some bundles in a meal for 2 you can see here, and a family sharer. That's great to see. Some advertising going on your social media platforms. It's a great channel to tell all your customers all about the kind of things that you do, and then get them excited about trying your food. We talked a little bit earlier on about marketing offers. Now, on Deliveroo, Just Eat and Uber, they all allow you to run discounted offers to help grow your sales. So use these offers to try and drive volume at key points of the week when you are not busy and you want to try and drive some extra sales. Don't get addicted to the discount, because you need to drive some profit as well. And of course, any discount is going to take some profit off your bottom line. But common discounts that you'll see out there are things like 25% off. You can do things like add a free item. There's lots of different discounts you can do that are available in the setup there. You can set it as on all items, on selected items, on certain days of the week. The way you can set it up is quite phenomenal now. But those are the kind of things that you can try and boost some sales in key times of the week when you need the extra sales to come in. And particularly if you've got team members who are stood around and you want to try and use them as much as possible, driving some extra volume through the business when you've got those people there will definitely help you to make sure you're sweating your assets, which is your pub and your kitchen, as much as possible. Wowing your customers, I always like to think about how do you create an experience. So wowing your customers, little things like putting a sticker on the bag. I always talk about putting tamper evident seal stickers on the bags as well, because that in this post-COVID world helps people to feel like the order's been safe and secure and hasn't been messed with by a driver along the way. So putting a sticker to close the bag up, or maybe even fold the bag down and put the sticker over that closure to make sure that the bag is nice and safe and secure, and it keeps the heat in there as well. Those are the kind of things I think it's a really good way to try and make sure that you wow your customers with that. Another great way is by adding freebies into the bag. So if you've got some things you're trying to wow your customers with, maybe adding a little free dessert, a cookie, a little cake, maybe some snacks from the bar. Adding those in will wow your customers because they don't expect it. That's surprise and delight. You as a pub manager well know that delighting your customers by giving a freebie every now and then, how far that can go. Here's an example on the right hand side of one restaurant who gave away a free cookie, and the customer then spoke about that on their social media, loving the fact that they had that free cookie and a little post-it note there saying a sweet treat from us. Now, I love it when people put notes in, and I love the personal touch when people say, oh, hey, Andre, enjoy this. That makes my day. So that will guarantee, we talked about trying to get 5-star scores on the apps earlier on. These are the kind of things that guarantee you to get 5-star ratings on the apps as well. So all that stuff I think really important, and keep thinking about that as to how to impress people through the world of delivery and takeaway. And that's it. So good luck. Lots of information in there. We'll send all of the Dextrum parts 1, 2, and 3 to you, and the Ready Reckoner as well. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you get stuck into delivery and takeaway and see that it's a big opportunity and one which you can't let pass you by. So that's it from me. Thanks very much. Take care.